Imagine this. You're sitting on your own land, a place your family has owned for generations. The lake before you glimmers under the evening sun, your boat rocking gently as you cast a line into the water. Everything feels calm until suddenly, red and blue lights flash across the surface. Sirens cut through the silence. Deputies step onto the bank, and behind them stand your very own neighbors, smirking, waiting to watch you fall. That's exactly what happened to Daniel Walker, a quiet man who never asked for trouble, but found himself in the middle of a storm. Daniel wasn't a drifter. He wasn't a stranger, he was the rightful owner of that lake. His father had fished there. His grandfather had worked the same soil, and every tax bill had been paid with pride. This land was not just property, it was legacy. It was blood. It was history. But envy has a way of turning neighbors into enemies. Men like Richard Coleman and Howard Burns couldn't stand the idea of Daniel enjoying peace on land they wished was theirs. They whispered lies, spread rumors, and finally called the authorities. They told the sheriff's office that Daniel was trespassing on his own lake. That night, Daniel stood firm, shocked at the absurdity of it all. He tried to reason, tried to explain, but the deputies only saw the complaints in their hands. Daniel went home humiliated but not broken. He opened the old wooden chest his father had left him, pulling out deeds, maps, and documents that proved without doubt the lake was his. But his neighbors didn't stop there. Days turned into weeks, and the harassment grew worse. Richard and Howard parked trucks to block his access road. They tore down fences. They even threatened him face to face, laughing as if they had already won. Most men would have cracked under the pressure. Most men would have sold the land and walked away. But Daniel wasn't most men. He knew one thing. If you let bullies win once, they'll never stop coming back. So he started building his case. He photographed every fence post pulled down, every truck parked in the wrong place, every threat whispered at night. He filed complaints, spoke with lawyers, and waited patiently, like a fisherman waiting for the perfect catch. And then he struck back in a way no one saw coming. Near his lake was a marina, a place Richard and Howard used constantly for their boating parties and fishing trips. It was the hub of their summer weekends, the place they thought gave them control over the lake. Quietly, without a single word, Daniel purchased the entire marina. Within weeks, the papers were signed, the deal closed, and suddenly, everything changed. Now every slip rental, every boat permit, every ounce of access to that lake went through one man, Daniel Walker. The same man they tried to humiliate. The same man they called a trespasser. When Richard and Howard showed up the following weekend, boats in tow, they were met with new rules and new prices. Rules written by Daniel himself. Their laughter was gone. Their pride shattered. They had no choice but to swallow their words and beg for access to the very water they once tried to take from him. The town watched in silence. Some cheered Daniel's victory, others whispered that he had gone too far. But everyone understood one thing clearly. Daniel had won. Not with fists, not with violence, but with patience, strategy, and ironclad determination. This wasn't just about a lake. It was about legacy. About one man proving that when you know your rights, when you stand firm against lies, no amount of intimidation can strip you of what's yours. Daniel Walker didn't just protect his family's land, he flipped the entire game. And those who once mocked him now had to play by his rules. So the next time someone tries to steal what's yours, remember this story. Remember Daniel Walker, the man who turned humiliation into victory. Sometimes in life, the biggest battles are not fought with fists or weapons, but with patience, wisdom, and the courage to stand firm. The story of Daniel Walker teaches us exactly that. Daniel could have given up. When his neighbors mocked him, when the deputies humiliated him, when fences were torn down and threats filled the air, most people would have walked away. But Daniel didn't. He chose a different path, a smarter path. What's the lesson here? It's simple. Never let envy or lies push you off your rightful ground. If you know you are right, stand your ground. But do it with strategy, not rage. Because anger fades, but strategy lasts. Daniel documented everything. He collected proof. He didn't let his emotions control him. He let patience guide him. And when the time was right, he struck back in a way no one could stop. He didn't fight them on their terms. He changed the entire game. That's the second lesson. Control the battlefield. If you let others set the rules, you'll always lose. But if you stay calm, think ahead, and plan carefully, you can flip the rules in your favor, just like Daniel did with the marina. And finally, the most powerful lesson of all, respect for legacy. Daniel's fight wasn't just about land or water. It was about honoring the hard work of his father and grandfather. It was about protecting what was rightfully his, not just for himself, but for the generations to come. So what do we learn? Patience is stronger than anger. Proof is stronger than lies. And determination is stronger than intimidation. Life will always bring people who try to push you down, who try to steal what's yours, or make you doubt your worth. But remember this, you don't have to fight with rage, you just have to outsmart them. Like Daniel Walker, hold your ground, stay patient, stay focused. And one day, the same people who laughed at you will have no choice but to play by your rules.